Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to First Congregational Church of Hampton. My name is Jennifer Ramsey, and I am the Director of Music here at the church. We are so happy to see all of you filling the sanctuary this afternoon for an amazing afternoon of bell choir music from the Back Bay Ringers. This is the first time that we have hosted the Ringers here at the church, and I understand it's the first time they've crossed the border into New Hampshire. So we're very happy to have them here up north, as they say in Boston. Just a few housekeeping things. If you could please take this opportunity to silence your cell phones. And also the Ringers ask that you not record the concert. So if you could put those phones just away and sit back and forget about cell phones and enjoy the concert, you'll all be better for that. In the unlikely event of emergency, there are exits at the back where you came in, as well as on both sides of the front of the auditorium. Please exit quietly and calmly should there be an emergency. And if you're too toasty, I'll be in the back of the room. Wave at me and I can turn the heat down a little bit for you. So, we hope, also one other shameless plug, at the end of the concert, the Ringers are going to be selling CDs. We hope you'll take advantage of that after you hear the concert and want to listen more at home. And also the guild from our church here has a few leftover gift baskets that we're selling in the narthex on the way out of the building as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Back Bay Ringers.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for Christmas with the Back Bay Ringers. My name is Griff Gall. I'm the founding artistic director of the Back Bay Ringers, and we are very excited to be here in New Hampshire for the first time. Back in June, I came up to this church to hear our friends, the Merrimack Valley Ringers, perform. And after the concert, I spoke with Jennifer and said, if it's at all possible, we would love to come up and share our music with your audience as well. So thank you for taking the time to be here with us. We opened with a processional called Gloria, the angels we have heard on high. And then we continued with the overture to Cantata 142 by Bach. Now, this is when I would typically describe the theme of this year's concert. And I will tell you simply that there is no theme. It was just whatever I liked. And one piece that Sally liked. That's our theme this year. It is really just music to bring us joy. We're going to continue now with the arrangement of O Little Town of Bethlehem. Sometimes I need my notes, sometimes I don't. It's best if I have them when I need them. All right, so our next piece, Caroling, Caroling, was written by jazz musician Alfred Burt. He wrote 15 carols between 1942 and 1954, and these carols accompanied his family's illustrated Christmas cards. In 1954, 3 of the cards were created. We'll Dress This House, The Star Carol, and Caroling, Caroling. Only We'll Dress the House was sent out, which may be somewhat ironic considering that The Star Carol and Caroling, Caroling are arguably Burt's most recognized works. Now, as I was researching a little bit about Mr. Burt, I found his family's webpage in honor of Alfred Burt. And I just have to read this quote to you because it made me laugh. Albert's music has gained international acceptance among orchestras, choirs, choral groups. Not sure what the difference is between the choir, but anyway, it gets better. Civic organizations and very ordinary people. I'm pretty sure someone could have chosen some better words than very ordinary people. Well, we as very ordinary people have certainly enjoyed learning Sandra Tucker's arrangement of Caroling, Caroling. Jennifer, is it possible to have that heat turned off? Because it's blowing right on me and it's really hot. Thank you. One of my favorite holiday tunes is O Come, O Come, Emmanuel. I love the simplicity and the elegance of this plain chant tune. And when we started, I researched to find an arrangement of O Come, O Come, Emmanuel. But I was finding that many of the arrangements took this really elegant, simple tune and turned it into something far more than it needed to be. Sort of a fantasia on O Come, Emmanuel, or some large, flashy performance. A few years ago, we found Kevin Bryant's arrangement. And what I love is that it truly does honor the simplicity of this beautiful chant. Our performance tonight will feature our Whitechapel handbells, as well as our choir chimes. Here's O Come, O Come, Emmanuel. Oh, good, I did put it away. There we go. It's hard to imagine a more iconic piece of music for a handbell choir to play than the Ukrainian Bell Carol, or Carol of the Bells. I know Back Bay Ringers personally has at least 3 other arrangements of this piece sitting in our file cabinets in the basement of Old South Church in Boston right now. But what's one more to add to that? A few months ago, I found Alex Guibert's 2018 arrangement of Carol of the Bells and really was inspired by his unique treatment of the piece that still honors the joy and the sort of, you still recognize the tune. Let me be honest. It really is a fun arrangement. We've really enjoyed it. But one of the things that I found was interesting when I was looking for this was the titles that arrangers have selected when they have created their handbell arrangement of this. Now, mind you, there were hundreds of handbell arrangements of this piece. But here's just a sample. Of course, there is, wrong page. Panicked there for a second. Carol of the Bells, Ukrainian Bell Carol, Ukrainian Carol of the Bells, Ukrainian Bell Carol Fantasy, Bell Carol Fantasy, Fantasy on Carol of the Bells, Meditation on Carol of the Bells. Not sure that Carol of the Bells is the first song that pops into my mind for meditation, but okay. Carillon on Ukrainian Bell Carol and Fantasia on Ukrainian Bell Carol. I'm pretty sure these arrangers are just grasping for adjectives at this point. But we're going to continue with Alex Guibert's simply titled Carol of the Bells. Every year, I love to be able to find pieces that are new to Back Bay Ringers. And one of our favorite arrangers is Sandra Ethan. Now, if you would have asked me last year what were sort of my favorite Christmas carols, You Hear What I Hear would not have made that list. But after hearing Sandra Ethan's arrangement, it certainly is up there now. Sandra wrote this arrangement for the 65th wedding anniversary of the parents of Dave Harris, who is the director of the Raleigh Ringers. And she wrote this piece with real intent about telling the story. Every verse is treated very differently. She starts with this violent wind that comes to spread the news. And then it goes into talking about the shepherd, the little shepherd boy, and it talks about the king making the proclamation. And this story is, as I said, every verse she treats slightly differently, and it really is quite stunning. So we hope that you enjoy Sandra Ethan's Do You Hear What I Hear? I should have given you full warning. At this point in the program, it is your turn to help us stretch things just a little bit so that they have a little bit of a break. At this point, I'd love to ask you some questions, and then you ask us some questions. So first, are there any handbell musicians in the audience today? It's always nice to know we have a few spare ringers around. Is anyone hearing a handbell ensemble for the first time? Awesome. Well, welcome. It always excites us to be able to introduce our instrument to others. So welcome. I would love to see if you have any questions about the ensemble, the organization, the instruments, any of the techniques that you are seeing up there. Any questions you might have? Yes? That's a great question. Hold on. Let me get, this isn't our biggest. Let me grab this one over here. So these are our aluminum bells. And even though they are enormous, they're actually about half the weight or less than half the weight of their bronze counterparts. So this is our G2. We really consider ourselves a 6.5 octave choir. So we go from G2 all the way up to C9. How much?
Would you like to try the pinky one with this?
Nope. Nope.
This one's 14 pounds.
So, but like,
There's a
look
big
at the
difference.
difference in size. So bronze versus aluminum. The aluminums give us a really pure fundamental sound. You're just getting that bass sound. Whereas the bronze, there are a lot of overtones. They're much heavier, the bronze version. So I think it gives us a little bit more flexibility with the aluminum ones. We enjoy them. Yes. Other questions? Yes?
I noticed at least 4 different ways of using the same bell to get entirely different sound. How many different ways are there?
Depends on how many middle school students are in the room. I'm pretty sure that middle school students invented most of these techniques. So on the table, we have 4 inches of foam. So that allows us to actually play the bell into the table, creating mostly what we call stopped sounds. So we can mark the bells. Give me a, what's the chord? E. I don't know why I can't do this. E major chord. And just mark for me one time. Ready, and great, that did not go like the major chord. E, B, and G sharp. Try that one more time. E, B, and G sharp. Oh, that's much better. And that's a really fun sort of stop sound. We can do a martlet with it. Ready, and right. And we use mallets. We have each position probably has at least 3 different mallets associated with it, so that we can play with that. We can get a brighter mallet sound or a darker or warmer or whatever. So lots of fun techniques. Yes. Other questions? Yes.
Yes, could you please point to or someone show different instruments that you are playing other than the handbell?
Other than the handbell. So our percussion instruments are sort of our unpitched percussion instruments are all up there. You're going to hear. Sally will keep us all in line. You're going to hear the slapstick. You're going to hear some jingle bells and the temple blocks, which are right here. The chime tree is over on this, sort of in front of the pulpit. Most friends will call it the wind chimes. And then we have choir chimes, which we love. They are a tool that was invented for music education. They are much lighter. They're aluminum. Again, you're getting just the pure sound. We use them much like an organist would change stops on an organ, so you can just get a different tone color. That's also how we use our Whitechapel bells. Thank you. Which you can see have the leather handles. FYI, one of the questions that we often get is, why do your ringers wear gloves? Well, these leather handles are why the gloves happened with handbells. It protects your hands and it protects the leather. So again, we just use these to change the sound color. One more question? Yes?
Cymbals.
We do not have it. We didn't bring our cymbals with us this year for this season. They will be in our spring program. The cymbals are a rack of castings. They are Malmark castings that are mounted on a rack, and they allow one player to play a full octave of bells just using mallets. Malmark invented them with the idea of perhaps using them with studio musicians who wanted the sound of handbells but didn't want to deal with bringing in an ensemble, which is a shame because they should just hire us and it'd be fine. But we really enjoy them. It's great for like little ostinato pattern, like repeated patterns over things or whatever. So we have fun with those. We are very lucky to have Greg Urban in our ensemble, who is an arranger and composer as well. And he often comes to me and says, hey, I have an idea for a piece. And his ideas are usually pretty fun and exciting. So we're going to perform his arrangement of the pentatonics arrangement of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Every family, every community has traditions around the holidays. My family growing up, we knew that when you were decorating the tree, Nana's gold Christmas ball went on the tree first. The adults in my family also had a tradition of drinking Nana's eggnog, but that was definitely not for the children. Although it is really tasty now that I know it. Back Bay Ringers certainly has some traditions as well. Since 2004, since we were founded in 2004, on every Christmas concert, we have chosen to play Fred Grayman's Change Ring Prelude on Divinum Mysterium. I don't know how this tradition took place. I don't know how it started. But I can tell you that after almost 20 years of playing this piece, I still become deeply moved when this ensemble plays Change Ring Prelude. One of the other pieces that has become a tradition for us is Jim Weber's Silent Night. Stille Nacht is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful, familiar Christmas hymn. And I was introduced to this arrangement at a Westminster Choir College alumni handbell ringing event. Jim and I went to college together, and he wrote this arrangement for the Westminster Concert Bell Choir. I went to the alumni event and we rang through the piece, and I immediately looked at Jim and said, "Jim, I need that arrangement." And he said, "Well, it hasn't been published." And I said, "I didn't ask that. I need that arrangement for Back Bay Ringers." And Jim graciously sent us transcripts of it before it was published. It has since been published by Beck and Horst, and it is an absolutely beautiful arrangement. We're going to continue now with Change Ring Prelude. Back Bay Ringers was founded as the nation's first open and affirming handbell ensemble for friends and members of the LGBTQ community. The intent was to create a safe space where all musicians felt safe to be their true, authentic selves. In 2016, BBR was performing at the National Seminar for the Handbell Musicians of America. And handbell composer Michael Hellman invited us to premiere his Prayer for the Innocents. This was his response to the attack on the Pulse nightclub, a space that was also supposed to be a safe space for LGBTQ members. We offer this piece this season to honor all of those lost in the senseless act of gun violence that continues to plague our nation, especially to those lost at Club Q on November 20th. We ask that you refrain from applause and just hold a moment of silence in remembrance. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our Executive Director, Cade Murray.
It's always a maze to figure out how to get from behind the tables up to the front. Oh, and you sat down right in front.
Oh.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second. I was looking for my water bottle here.
As you can see, we're highly organized.
This microphone was added after our rehearsal, and it totally threw me off.
So, as Griff said, my name is Cade Murray. I'm the Executive Director of Back Bay Ringers. And on behalf of the entire organization, I want to thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. This is a brand new venue for us. We haven't been here before, and it's the first time we've been out of Massachusetts in quite some time. So we're really thrilled to be here with you today. I want to offer a special thanks to Jennifer Ramsey, who talked with Griff and worked with me earlier in the year and did everything behind the scenes to make today's concert a success. And we're here because she worked with us on it. So thank you very much, Jennifer. Also want to thank the ushers and the technical people, the people running the live stream, everyone that's helping us out today to make this a success. And I want to thank the people that are with us on live stream as well for being here. It's kind of a new tradition for us to try to at least live stream one of our concerts every season. So we have a lot of friends that move out of state or old ringers and they leave. And so it's really good that we're able to connect again in a way. So it's one of the few positive things that I think came out of the last couple of years. I'd also like to welcome you after the concert to come up to the front and talk to the ringers, to take a look at the bells. If there's any questions that you had that you weren't able to ask when Griff was doing the Q&A earlier, you can come up and ask the ringers. We really like to interact with our audience. We like to get to know you, and it's a really wonderful time for us. We really enjoy it when we get to talk with you after the concert. So please feel free to come up and chat with someone. Along those same lines, we really like to know how, who is here and how you found out about our concert. So if you look in your program, there's an envelope in there that you can fill out just some information that lets us know who you are, how you heard about the concert, and you can drop that in the bell that's on the ticket table on your way out. As a special incentive, at the end of our concert series, we're going to be doing a drawing of all of the people that drop names into the bell, and 3 people will get albums, either digital or physical CDs, as a drawing. So if you do drop something in, make sure you leave us a way to contact you so that you know if you won. If you can't wait for that, you can also purchase CDs on the way out. They're available. It's a great last-minute Christmas gift or stocking stuffer, just saying. And then finally, if you're feeling especially generous, you can also add a donation in the envelope or just in the bell. Because we try to keep our ticket prices as low as we can to keep the concerts accessible to everybody, our concerts don't actually cover all of our operating expenses for the year. And so we do rely on donations from kind individuals to keep us going throughout the whole year. So if you want to do that, that would be fabulous. And I think I've now spent enough time that everyone behind me got ready. And so sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the concert. Thank you again for coming.
So, as I mentioned before, most of this program was really pieces that just struck a chord with me, pieces that brought joy to me and that I thought would be fun for us to share. But I do often ask the musicians, what's something that you think we should ring this season? And Sally is often the first person to respond with a wonderful email of 4 or 5 very thoughtful suggestions for pieces that we should including links and video performances and everything. And this is probably the second year that she sent the suggestion of Blue Christmas. And I thought, well, my mom is going to be in the audience this year, and she's going to enjoy Elvis's Blue Christmas. Thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday afternoon here with us this evening or this afternoon. We know that this time of the year brings a lot of busyness. There are presents to wrap and purchase and cookies to bake and decorations and lights to hang. And I'll stop there because it will just stress us all out even more. But we hope that our concert has brought you a moment of reflection, a moment to appreciate the joy and the beauty and the peace of this wonderful time of the year. We're going to continue with a piece that is certainly a tradition in Boston, the Leroy Anderson Sleigh Ride.